What's up, everybody? Happy Friday to you. We made it. We made it. Shout out to everybody that was on a hustle this week, just doing your thing and just trying to do all you can to survive and make sure your family is straight. Kudos to you. So I want to talk briefly about Diddy and Cassie. For those of you who follow hip hop, you know that Sean Diddy Combs, a rap mogul, years in the game, decades in the game, he has brought up some decent, mediocre artists that have come and go off of our radar. Sample King back in the 90s, that's where I remember him. Did he just sampled his ass off back in the 90s? But we liked him. We loved him. He was Sean Diddy Combs. But over the years, excuse me, Diddy, there's been like all little inklets of things coming out about Diddy, about his temperament. I remember when I was in middle school, it was Wendy Williams and supposedly him organizing, or maybe that was Jay-Z that organized Wendy Williams getting hurt. No, I think that was Diddy. Wendy Williams she had a radio show, and obviously she would say things on that show that people didn't like, whether or not they were true or not. They're like, we got people signing NDAs not to talk about this, and here your ass just jaw jacking on the radio. Wendy, you can your ass well. And that's what happened to Wendy in the 90s, and I'm pretty sure beyond. But anyways, so Diddy was in a relationship with Cassie, and I just remember my favorite song by Cassie is King of Hearts, still is. That's one of my favorite. I think she's so beautiful. I've always thought she was beautiful. I've always loved her as a model. I think she did model for Sean John. I think she maybe even model for Babyface. She used to model. And so the girl had potential, not just because of how beautiful she was, but she did have, a mixture of talent. And when you have a young girl like that who's ambitious, she wants to be famous, she wants to be a model, she wants to be a singer, and you got a guy like Puffy or Diddy, right? And this guy has the access to give her all of those things, right? Young girls and women in general like men in power. And, if they have money and power, that's even more sexy, in most cases, unless they're a beta male, then it doesn't matter how much money and power you have. You're still a beta male, and you're not going to be long-term desirable by women. Your money will, but you will not. And that's just the cold facts of life. But anyways, so, Diddy and Cassie were together for over 10 years. Now, obviously there's the public perception of these people in relationships, and then this was going on behind closed door. And apparently, according to a recent lawsuit filed by Cassie Ventura, whatever her new last name is, she is suing Diddy because behind closed doors, she claimed that she endured rape and physical abuse during the duration of their relationship. And she is suing this man for $30 million. Now, I am not in the school of believing all women, okay? I don't believe in you should believe all women. But in this particular situation, I do believe Cassie. I do believe that Sean Diddy Combs, if you look at him, his character in motion, he absolutely looks like the candidate to do some of the things that she has accused him of. And he also looks like the right candidate to maybe even have a lifestyle that he just needs to go ahead and just accept, because everybody else is just we know. We feel like we know at this point, because there's just too many reoccurring patterns, my dog, if you know what I mean. And so I do feel like, I'm sorry. It's just like this Will Smith thing. I'm sorry. If you didn't know that Will Smith was just a little bit sweet, it's like, ain't no black man really getting higher up in these Hollywood circles without sacrificing some aspect of his masculinity. because in those Hollywood entertainment circles, there are a lot of executives who are highly emasculated, and the only aspect of their emasculation comes from the fact that they're privileged to be in a situation that they're in, to be in an executive position, to have control over other people's livelihoods. That is their privilege. They have power. They have way more power than these hip hop moguls who have their own little power, but they're still beholden to each other to some extent, because these executives aren't going out in the streets and finding new artists. These moguls are sending their minions out in the street to find new artists that they can creatively exploit the Black community with from the poverty line. So I just say that to say that I don't find that throughout my growing up and observing Sean Puffy Combs, I never, ever, ever thought that he had a good, positive character. He never came across as somebody that had a good, positive character. He came off as a very sneaky man who's able to be a chameleon in different settings, because I don't think he's a dumb man. Now, that's one thing I will not say is that he's dumb. He's goofy as hell to me. I feel like if Puff was not famous, he would just be this goofy dude, right, with anger issues probably, and trying to find some way to, be relevant, to a bunch of people around him. I've seen his character before. And I've seen his character on the poorer extreme. But here's the thing: if you observe people, everybody's a textbook situation to somebody else if you're paying attention, and I pay attention. So if he didn't have money, he'd be somebody just really goofy, starving for relevance and attention all the time. Puff is smart, though. He's a smart man. You can't have the tenure in the game that Puff has without being somewhat intelligent or compromising of yourself. Maybe he didn't start off sweet. Maybe the industry made him sweet, because they really do target Black men for the sweetness. Sometimes it's like Black men are a big threat to some of these establishment people, because it's like they want to exploit, the aggressive aspects of Black men, right? But they also want to, emasculate it at the same time, and so that they can feel powerful in a room of with a Black man. It's weird. It's all if you gotta be Black to understand in this construct of Black to understand what I'm saying there. But anyways, I feel like, I pray for Cassie. I pray that, she has seen, a therapist. She's getting help so that she can reconcile, some of the trauma that she's, claims that she experienced with him. And, I pray for any woman that has dealt with Diddy and have felt like this man has really been a manipulating abuser instead of somebody who was supposed to serve a purpose to help further their career, or, be somebody that he, was in love with him. In Cassie's case, I do believe she was in love with him. I think she had Stockholm syndrome, but I also think that there was an inkling of the celebrity. I think that as she dealt with those things, I'm pretty sure that a part of her understood that once she detaches from Diddy, she's done. Nobody's really going to know who Cassie is again unless she exposes Diddy. So maybe she's playing chess. I don't know. But Cassie, girl, keep your security up. Keep it up, girl. All the way up. You better enhance it, because you know how them rumors be. You stay with that man for 10 years. You probably know what type of mindset that is, And let's not mention the fact that Kim Porter was a relatively healthy woman before she had this sudden bout with pneumonia. So there's that. Anyways, you guys have a wonderful, wonderful weekend. Cassie, hopefully you praying, girl, and helping and asking God to help, you know, release you of the shame and the humiliation of being with such a, seemingly very satanic man. So you guys have a wonderful weekend. Bye.